Maya crouched on the edge of the riverbank, her boots sinking slightly into the wet sand. The alien sun reflected off the water in 1,000 tiny sparks, making the river look alive. She had been exploring this part of the world for hours, noting unusual plants and strange tracks. The forest behind her was dense with trees that seemed to hum faintly in the wind. Despite the beauty, she always remained alert. This planet was full of unknown dangers. A sudden splash drew her attention. She froze, listening. The sound came again, louder this time. Something was struggling in the water. Her heart pounded as she squinted into the river. Through the rippling currents, she saw a massive wolf-like creature thrashing. Its fur was silver with streaks of strange glowing patterns that shifted like liquid light. The beast was caught between jagged rocks, struggling to breathe, and blood stained the water around it. Maya's first instinct was fear, but she shook it off. She had faced dangerous creatures before, but never one this large. She quickly assessed the situation. The wolf could easily rip her apart, yet leaving it to die was not an option. Steeling herself, she removed her backpack and waded into the water. The current was stronger than she expected. She fought to keep her footing, feeling the icy water bite her skin. The wolf growled, a low, painful sound that vibrated through the river. Its eyes, golden and intelligent, met hers for a brief moment. In that instant, Maya felt a strange connection. This was no ordinary animal. Slowly, she edged closer. She could see the source of the wolf's struggle, a deep gash along its side and one paw twisted unnaturally. Carefully, she wrapped her arms around its torso and tried to lift it. The wolf tried to pull away but seemed too weak to resist fully. Inch by inch, she dragged it toward the shallower part of the river. By the time she reached the bank, her clothes were soaked, and exhaustion clawed at her muscles. The wolf collapsed on the sand, panting heavily. Its breathing was shallow and blood continued to seep from the wound. Maya knew she had to act fast. She tore a strip from her shirt and pressed it against the gash, trying to slow the bleeding. Then she used a small first aid kit from her pack to clean and wrap the wound as best as she could. "Hold still," she whispered gently. "You'll be okay." The wolf's golden eyes studied her the entire time. Occasionally it let out a low growl, but it didn't attack. Maya couldn't shake the feeling that it understood her, that it trusted her in some way. She had always believed humans were capable of connection, even with creatures unlike themselves. But this felt extraordinary. As night fell, the air grew cooler. Maya built a small fire nearby, hoping the warmth would comfort the wolf and keep predators away. She watched it cautiously, unsure if it would attack while she slept. Hours passed and the creature remained quiet, closing its eyes now and then. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Her efforts had worked. She drifted off to sleep beside the fire, exhausted, but a strange sense of anticipation kept her eyes flickering open now and then. Something about this wolf was different. She didn't know why, but she felt certain this encounter was not random. Deep in the forest, unseen by Maya, another wolf observed the scene. Larger than any she had seen before, its eyes glowed with a fierce golden light. It was the Alpha King, the ruler of the largest pack on the planet. Wounded in a battle against a rival clan, he had been forced to flee, and the smaller wolf she rescued was his kin, a trusted scout. He watched as Maya worked with care and precision, a mix of curiosity and respect forming in his gaze. Humans were rare on this planet, and he had never seen one behave with such courage or compassion. By morning, the smaller wolf had vanished, moving silently into the dense forest. Maya searched briefly but found no trace. She shrugged, unsure if it had left because it was better or because it wanted to be alone. "What a strange world," she murmured, shaking water from her hair. She returned to her notes and sketches, trying to focus on the tasks ahead. Yet she felt an invisible weight pressing on her, a quiet awareness that her simple act might have consequences she couldn't yet understand. Meanwhile, the Alpha King began his slow recovery. The scout returned to him, leading the Alpha to a hidden grove deep within the forest. There he rested, his injuries severe but healing. The king's mind was sharp despite the pain, and he remembered every detail: the river, the human, the warmth and care that had saved the scout. The Alpha King's kind was known for loyalty and memory. To be saved was a bond that could not be broken lightly. Days passed. Maya continued her exploration, often venturing near the river. She catalogued plants, mapped the terrain, and occasionally saw fleeting shadows among the trees. She dismissed them as forest animals, unaware that the Alpha King and his scouts watched her. They studied her, noting her bravery, intelligence, and empathy. In the wild, such qualities were rare and respected even by alien predators. One afternoon, a sudden storm erupted. The wind tore through the forest, bending trees and sending debris flying. Maya scrambled to secure her camp, but before she could finish, a tree limb fell near her. She froze, knowing the forest could kill her if she was careless. Just then, a powerful growl echoed through the trees. She turned in time to see the massive form of the Alpha King emerge from the shadows, moving with speed and precision that seemed almost supernatural. The branch was pushed aside by his paw, keeping her safe. Maya stared, frozen, at the towering wolf. Its fur shimmered in the dim light, the glowing patterns along its sides pulsating like living fire. It was larger than she had imagined, majestic and terrifying all at once. But its eyes, golden and intelligent, held no threat, only recognition. Her mind raced. Could this be the same creature she had helped at the river? Impossible, she thought. Wolves did not have intelligence like this, or did they? She had read stories of alien shapeshifters, creatures capable of incredible feats, but nothing could have prepared her for this moment. The Alpha King circled her slowly, then sat down a few feet away, watching. He did not attack. He did not flee. He simply observed, as if waiting for her to understand. Slowly, realization dawned on Maya. Somehow, her act of kindness had created a connection. She had saved not just any creature, but a being of immense power and significance. Maya's fear gave way to awe. She reached into her pack and pulled out some rations, placing them on the ground near him. The king sniffed, then ate cautiously, still observing her. The bond was growing, subtle but undeniable. In the weeks to come, this connection would change everything. Maya would face danger she could not yet imagine, and the Alpha King would come to rely on her in ways she could not predict. For now, however, they simply watched each other in silence. A human and an Alpha King, two beings from completely different worlds connected by courage, empathy, and the smallest spark of trust. The river that had brought them together now flowed quietly, reflecting the sky and hinting at the adventures yet to come. And deep in the forest, unseen by Maya, other wolves stirred. They had heard the Alpha King's howl, a call of survival and recognition. Whispers of his return spread among the pack. The balance of power in the forest was beginning to shift, all because one human had chosen to act with compassion. Maya, unaware of the impact she had made, returned to her camp, her heart light despite the challenges ahead. She had saved a life, but she had also unknowingly become part of a story far greater than herself. One day, she would learn just how significant that moment at the river had been. For now, she simply survived and thrived in a world both beautiful and dangerous, watched over by a silent, loyal guardian whose golden eyes never left her. Days passed since Maya had rescued the wolf from the river, but she could not shake a strange feeling of being watched. Every time she explored the forest, shadows seemed to flicker just beyond her vision. Leaves rustled and branches cracked under unseen feet, yet when she turned, no one was there. Still, she felt no fear, only curiosity. Unbeknownst to her, the Alpha King had been observing her. He had fully recovered now, his wounds healed with the help of his loyal scouts. The glowing patterns along his fur shimmered with renewed strength, marking him as the ruler of his pack. He remembered her kindness and bravery at the river, and in the ways of his kind, that debt could never be forgotten. One afternoon, Maya was collecting samples near the river when she heard movement behind her. She froze. From the corner of her eye, she saw a flash of silver and gold. Before she could react, the Alpha King appeared. Towering, magnificent, and commanding, he emerged from the trees. His eyes locked onto hers, and in that gaze, Maya felt something she had never experienced before. An intelligent awareness. A silent recognition that went beyond fear or fascination. The Alpha King stepped closer, his movements smooth and deliberate. Maya instinctively reached for her knife, but she quickly realized that he meant no harm. Instead, he lowered his head slightly as if bowing in respect, acknowledging the bond formed when she saved his scout. Slowly, she dropped her knife and extended a hand. The king sniffed it cautiously, then pressed his massive head against her palm. Her heart raced. She realized that this creature, this king, was not just powerful but sentient, capable of understanding her in ways that went beyond instinct. Every movement, every glance carried intention and intelligence. Maya had read about alien shapeshifters and powerful guardians, but experiencing one firsthand was nothing like the stories. Suddenly, a commotion erupted further up the river. Rival hunters, humans who had come to capture rare creatures for profit, had spotted her camp. They moved stealthily, weapons ready. Maya's heart sank. She had no idea how she could defend herself against them. She barely had time to think before the hunters advanced. Then the Alpha King acted. With a single, powerful leap, he positioned himself between Maya and the hunters. He growled, a deep, resonant sound that shook the forest. The hunters froze, their eyes wide in disbelief. They had expected a defenseless human, not a towering wolf-like creature with glowing fur and eyes that seemed to pierce through their souls. One of the hunters aimed a weapon, but the Alpha King moved with lightning speed. He batted the weapon aside with his paw and snarled so fiercely that the human stumbled back. The remaining hunters, realizing they were no match, retreated into the forest. Maya could hardly believe her eyes. The creature she had rescued had saved her in return. Breathing heavily, she knelt beside the Alpha King. I didn't know," she whispered. "You're amazing." The king's ears twitched and he pressed his head gently against her shoulder. In that moment, Maya understood something profound. Her compassion had not only saved a life, but had forged a bond with one of the most powerful beings on this planet. Over the following days, the Alpha King began to guide Maya through the forest. He led her to a hidden sanctuary deep within the trees, a place where his pack lived in peace. She marveled at the intelligence of the pack, their structured society, and their deep connection to the environment. Maya observed their interactions, noting how the Alpha King's presence inspired respect and obedience. It was there she learned about the rival clans and the political unrest threatening the Alpha King's territory. A war between the packs could destroy the forest, and with it, countless lives. Maya listened carefully, understanding that her knowledge of human strategy and technology could help. The Alpha King seemed to sense her thoughts, and through subtle gestures and telepathic hints they began to communicate. Together, they devised a plan. Maya would help mediate between the rival clans, using her human perspective to offer solutions the wolves might not see. The Alpha King, in turn, provided protection and insight into the forest's secrets. Maya learned to move silently, to read the signs of the forest, and to understand the subtle cues of the wolf pack. She became more than an observer. She became an ally, a strategist, and a friend. One evening, as the twin moons rose above the horizon, the Alpha King led Maya to the edge of a cliff overlooking the forest. The wind blew gently, carrying the scent of the trees and rivers below. "This is your gift," the king seemed to say, his glowing eyes meeting hers. Maya understood. Her courage, her willingness to help, had saved not only the scout but the Alpha King himself. And now, that bond had the potential to save an entire civilization. The days that followed were filled with challenges. Rival clans tested their strength, sending scouts and minor attacks to gauge the Alpha King's power. Maya and the king responded with clever strategies and careful planning. She set traps using natural resources, anticipated movements based on her studies, and advised the Alpha King on defensive formations. Each success strengthened their trust and deepened their bond, but not all was easy. Maya faced moments of fear and doubt, questioning her ability to influence creatures far more powerful than herself. Yet every time she hesitated, the Alpha King was there, silently encouraging her. In his presence, she discovered a strength within herself that she had never known, a resilience born from compassion, courage, and the will to protect those in need. One day, a rival clan's leader challenged the Alpha King directly. A massive battle seemed inevitable. Maya watched from a safe distance, heart pounding. The Alpha King faced his opponent with calm authority, moving with a grace and power that left the enemy stunned. Using the strategies Maya had suggested, the Alpha King outmaneuvered his rival, showing not only physical dominance, but also tactical intelligence. When the battle ended, the rival clan retreated. The Alpha King returned to Maya, his glowing fur shimmering in the sunlight. She approached him cautiously, placing a hand on his head. "We did it," she whispered. He responded with a soft, resonant growl, a sound that conveyed gratitude, respect, and something more, a recognition of partnership. From that moment, Maya and the Alpha King became inseparable. She learned to navigate the forest safely, to anticipate the dangers, and to use her human ingenuity to help maintain peace. The Alpha King, in turn, shared his knowledge of the forest, teaching her the ways of his pack and the importance of balance in the wild. Together, they restored harmony among the clans, preventing further conflict and creating a future where humans and wolves could coexist peacefully. Maya realized that her journey had changed her in ways she could not have imagined. She had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, yet her compassion and courage had forged bonds stronger than any weapon. At the end of their journey, Maya and the Alpha King stood atop the cliff once more, overlooking the vast, vibrant forest. The river sparkled below, a reminder of the day that had brought them together. The Alpha King lowered his head slightly in a gesture of respect and trust. Maya smiled, understanding that their story was only beginning. In saving one life, she had saved many more. And in return, she had found a guardian, a friend, and a connection that transcended species and worlds. The forest, alive with the sounds of life and harmony, seemed to celebrate their bond. The Alpha King's golden eyes met hers once again, and Maya knew, without a doubt, that she had made a difference. A human making a lasting impact on an alien world, proving that courage, kindness, and intelligence could change destinies. The story ended not with a goodbye, but with a beginning. Maya and the Alpha King, united by fate and compassion, would face the future together, ready to protect the forest, its creatures, and the fragile balance of life that depended on them.